The Little Fox and the Magical Moonlight. Once upon a time, in a quiet forest with a crystal-clear stream, there lived a little fox named Fern. He was curious and loved staring at the night sky, always wondering why the moon shone so softly and beautifully. One night, while following the moon's reflection on the water, Fern discovered a glowing stone resting in the middle of the stream. As he touched it, the stone shimmered like a small moon in his paw. A gentle voice whispered, "You may make one wish, but it must come from your truest heart." Fern closed his eyes and thought deeply. He did not wish for endless food, nor for strength or power. Instead, he wished that every animal in the forest could have a warm shelter to rest in during the cold nights. The stone rose into the sky, spreading its light across the forest. Trees bent their branches like gentle arms, forming cozy nests for the creatures big and small. The forest filled with smiles, and Fern's heart swelled with joy. He realized that true happiness is not found in what we keep for ourselves, but in what we give and share with others. The moral of the story: true happiness comes from kindness and sharing with others. Story: The Little Turtle and the Lantern of Hope. Once upon a time, there lived a little turtle named Timmy by the forest pond. He was slow and often teased by the other animals. One night, he found an old lantern glowing faintly in the grass. When he picked it up, he realized its flame never went out, no matter the wind or rain. The lantern whispered softly, "Whoever carries me will bring hope wherever they walk." So Timmy decided to carry it on his back. He traveled through the forest, and whenever an animal was lost in the dark, his lantern's light guided them. Whenever an animal felt lonely or sad, the gentle glow warmed their hearts. Though Timmy was still as slow as ever, the other animals began to wait for his light. Each of his small steps became meaningful, not just for reaching his own destination, but for sharing hope with others along the way. The moral of the story: even small, slow steps become powerful when they carry hope for others. Story: The Little Rabbit and the Magical Paper Aeroplane. Once upon a time, there was a little rabbit named Mila. She loved watching birds in the sky and secretly dreamed of flying like them. One day, Mila folded an old piece of paper into a tiny airplane and tossed it into the air. To her surprise, instead of falling, the paper plane soared upward as if it held magic. Mila hopped onto it, and the plane carried her above meadows, mountains, and deep forests. Along the way, she helped an injured bird by flying it back to its family, guided a lost deer to the right path, and shared smiles with every creature she passed. When the paper airplane finally floated down, Mila returned home with a heart full of warmth. She realized that even if she could not fly with her own wings, the true meaning of her journey was not flying the highest, but helping others along the way. Moral of the story: dreams are most beautiful when shared through kindness and helping others. Story: The Little Hedgehog and the Leaf Umbrella. Once upon a time, there was a little hedgehog named Pico who lived in a forest where it often rained. One day, while walking home, rain suddenly poured down. Pico looked for shelter, but found only a large fallen leaf. He picked it up and used it as an umbrella. Though it could not cover him completely, it allowed him to keep moving forward. Along the way, Pico met a small squirrel shivering in the rain. He shared his leaf umbrella so the squirrel could stay dry. Later, he found a young rabbit lost in the storm, and he covered it with the leaf until it found its burrow. Though Pico got wet himself, his heart felt warmer each time he saw his friends smile. When Pico finally reached home, his body was soaked, but his heart was filled with warmth. He realized that a true umbrella is not only what we hold over our own heads, but also the kindness we share with others. Moral of the story: even a small act of sharing can bring great warmth to someone's heart. Story: The Little Bear and the Fallen Star. Once upon a time there was a little bear named Coco who lived by a hill. One night he saw a star falling from the sky and landing nearby. Curious, he rushed over and found the tiny star glowing faintly, as if it were weak and tired. Coco gently lifted the star into his paws. It felt warm, like a tiny heartbeat. He brought it home, covering it with dry grass as a blanket, warming it by the fire, and singing lullabies softly each night. Slowly the star began to shine brighter and brighter, until one night it glowed as strongly as when it was high in the sky. Before returning to the heavens, the star whispered, "Because you cared with a gentle heart, I became strong again." Then it floated back into the sky. Coco watched with a smile, realizing that even though he could not keep the star, the warmth of caring for it would stay in his heart forever. Moral of the story: what we care for with love leaves warmth in our hearts, even after it is gone.